In this video, I'm going to tell you what you can do and what you can't do. The first thing I'm going to say is everything you can do, right? If you have the square root of a times b, where a and b is just any number, you can split it up and say that's root a times root b. And I'll show you it works by just putting in random numbers, you know. I could say the square root of 4 times 9 is equal to the square root of 4 times the square root of 9. Does it work? Yes, it does, because 4 times 9 is 36, which ends up being 6. And on this side, root 4 is 2, root 9 is 3, and that makes 6 as well, so it works. It doesn't have to be multiplied. You could say root a over b is root a divided by root b too. Multiplying and dividing is kind of the same thing, so yeah, it works. Another thing you can do is if you have fractions like this, you can split them up if you want. A plus b over c is a over c plus b over c. That works. You can try it yourself, just put in any equations like 4 plus 2 over 8 is equal to 4 over 8 plus 2 over 8. And it does work, I can tell you. That would be 6 over 8 in this example. Well, you know, the only way to add it is basically join it up. But yeah, it works. You can split them up. Another thing is if you're solving an equation and you have a random equation, I don't know what it is, divided by some other equation equals 0. If you ever get to something like that, what you can do is just ignore the bottom line. You can just score it out and just make top line equal 0. Why can you do that? Well, there's two ways of thinking it. You can think of change side, where you just multiply both sides by the bottom fraction. You get f of x over g of x times g of x is equal to 0 times g of x. Now 0 times anything is still 0. And the g of x cancels out, so you've got the top line equal to 0. Another way of thinking of it is 1 divided by anything can never be 0. No matter what g of x is, it can never be 0. When you think about it, 1 divided by 9 is like 0.111. 1 divided by 99 is probably 0.0111. You know, it keeps going and going until you get to like 1 divided by 9 billion trillion whatever. That would equal to 0.0000 whatever, but it's never quite 0. You know, it'll probably have a 1 at the end somewhere. So yeah, it can never be 0. So that's why top line equals 0 is the only way. That's everything you can do. Well, probably not everything. I've missed something out, but that's all I have to say for the things you can do. And now, the things that you can't do. If you have the square root of a number plus another number, you cannot split them up. You cannot say that's root a plus root b. That is wrong. You can try subbing some numbers. I can guarantee you they won't equal. If they equal, it would be a coincidence. Trust me, that does not work. Similar can be said for a minus b. That does not equal root a minus root b. That's wrong. So don't split things up like that. You can also do the same thing with powers, you know, because the square root is just the power of a half. You can't do that and break it up. Some people think that a plus b squared is a squared plus b squared. That's wrong. No. You cannot split things up inside brackets. You have to treat the whole bracket as one. You square the whole thing. I mean, let's just say 3 plus 5 squared. That's 8 squared, which is 64. Now if I split them up, 3 squared plus 5 squared, 9 plus 25. Yeah, that's not 64, so don't split things up like that. And fractions. If it's a fraction like that, you cannot split it up. You might think that you can do that. No, you can only do that if the top line is a sum. You can't split the bottom at all. The bottom always has to stay as it is. That is wrong. So don't split fractions up either. And the last thing is, don't divide by 0. You know, you cannot divide by 0. If you divide by 0, it's wrong. And also remember this. This isn't really a do or don't, but remember that the square root of a number has always got two answers. It's plus or minus. What do I mean by that? If you have the square root of 9, that's not just 3. It's plus or minus 3. Because if you think about it, minus 3 times minus 3 is also 9. You have to remember that. It might not matter at the early stages of maths, but it might matter later on, because here I have an equation. H equals 2 minus t over 20 squared. In this equation, this is an equation telling you what height of water is over time. So as time passes, H falls down. Okay, you don't really need to know, but imagine you're trying to solve for when H equals 9. So you have this, and you move the squared over, and you get square root in that side, and then you move the 2 over, and you get 1 equals minus t over 20, and you get t is equal to minus 20. You might think, what's wrong with that? Now remember, I said in this question that t was time. You can't have negative time. You can't go back in time. So that is wrong. Do you know what's wrong? It's because of this square root thing. When I move that squared to the other side, it's not 3. It's plus or minus 3. You know, you have two answers for this question. If I make it minus 3 at that part, you then move the 2 over, and in this you get t equals 100, and it's positive. That is the correct answer, because you know time can't be negative. So yeah, watch out. If you square root something, you have to remember both answers, because you never know which answer is right. I mean, they're both technically right, but in real life you can't have negative time, so yeah, you have to remember that. Now, here's a little challenge for you. You might have seen this before, I'm not sure if you have, but this is what you call validity. It's like some smart ass people trying to do shit you can't do in maths and try and, you know, blow your mind away. So you have an equation at the start, a equals b. Now you multiply both sides by a, so you get a squared equals ba. Then you subtract b squared on both sides. So you got a squared minus b squared equals ba minus b squared. Now I hope you know this rule. Difference of two squares is just a plus b, a minus b. It's just factorizing that, and you take out a common factor of b in that side. Now if you look, you've got a minus b, they cancel each other out. You could think of that as dividing by a minus b on both sides. They will cancel out, and now you're left with a plus b equals b. Now remember, a equals b, so I could just, instead of writing a there, I could write b plus b equals b, 2b equals b, cancel the b's, and now you've got 2 equals 1. What the hell is going on? Well, if you want to see where I've done a mistake here, or what's not allowed, if you want to work that out yourself, you can pause the video, or I will tell you the answer now. What is wrong is this line here. You might look at it and say, why can't you cancel it out? Well, because you cannot divide by 0. At the first line you said a equals b. So when you have a minus b, that will equal 0. And what you've done here is divide by 0. You can't do that. You can't divide by 0. So that is where the mistake is. So don't worry, 2 does not equal 1. It's wrong. So I hope you know a bit more about maths now. I hope that you remember what you can do and can't do. So I hope you're enjoying your maths. I hope you pass all your exams. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, I will try my best and help you. So have fun.